back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to do my end of the year book unhaul. I like to do these pretty sporadically and pretty consistently throughout the year. This is the end of the year one because, let's face it, it's basically the end of the year. I have a couple of books that I read towards the end of the year that I didn't super enjoy. There's a couple of books that I couldn't get into, and there's a couple of books that I have decided I just don't want to hold on to anymore. So let's get started. The Try Your Chapter tag. I read the first chapter of Meridian and did not love this angel book, and I am sending it back from whence it came. After reading Night of Cake and Puppets over the Reverse Dewey's 24-hour readathon over the summer, I realized I probably wasn't going to be revisiting the original series, so I'm unhauling it. Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, and Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. I really enjoyed that series when I originally read it. However, I just don't see myself revisiting it, so I'm gonna be removing it from my shelves. Speaking of things I don't see myself revisiting, I also don't see myself revisiting Fake Blood by Whitney Gardner. This was a cute middle grade graphic novel. However, I just don't see myself revisiting it. The next two books I'm unhauling are Of Fire and Stars and Ink Mistress by Audrey Colehurst. These books are books 1 and 0.5 in the Of Fire and Stars series, and I really enjoyed this one when I first read it back, and I believe when it first came out, which was I think 2016, and then I pre-ordered or picked up shortly after it came out Ink Mistress and never read it, and then I've heard very mixed things about book 2, and I just want to keep the first book with a positive thought in my heart, and I don't want to reread it and have it be tainted. So I'm just gonna let these ones go. I've tried to pick up Ink Mistress a couple of times and just couldn't get into it. I'm just gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna be unhauling my second copy of Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda. Technically this is like my third copy because I also own an e-copy, but semantics, I own a paperback. We don't need to own a paperback. I'm also going to be unhauling Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. This is not my favorite Nina LaCour, but also I'm not a big fan of like a Hollywood story. Next, I'm unhauling both of the Tara Mafi books that I have. I have A Very Large Expansive Sea, and furthermore, I'm basically unhauling these because I've kind of come to realize that me and Tara Mafi's writing style don't necessarily click together. I enjoy her works when I'm reading them, but I normally don't actually reach for them physically. I normally get an audiobook because it helps me digest the stories better. So having a physical copy doesn't exactly make the most sense for me. I'm also unhauling Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I just don't see myself revisiting this story. I'm also unhauling the Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow. I read this one, I believe, last year, and it was really cute and really fun and whimsical. However, I never picked up with the sequel. If I pick up the sequel, it's probably going to be from my library, so I'm not going to be holding on to a physical copy. I picked up How to Not to Die Alone through Book of the Month, and I absolutely really despise this book. I thought this book's premise was one thing, it was a completely different thing. I got like very, 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 very few chapters in before being so disgusted that I had to drop it. So this is one of my DNFs for this year. We just don't even talk about DNFs on this channel, but we got rid of it. Yay! Next, I'm unhauling Good Morning, Good Night. This is Little Pep Talks, and I enjoyed this when I first read it. However, I don't see myself revisiting it, and I'm kind of finding if I'm not going to revisit things, I'm unhauling them more, which is very odd because I don't reread as much as I should. So I'm unhauling this. Speaking of unhauling because we don't reread, I read this book a really long time ago, and I keep saying I should revisit it, and then I went to reread it and I just kind of was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it with the positive memories I have and just move on, because rereading the premise, it sounds like I'm just gonna not enjoy it anymore. So I'm also unhauling Tell Me Everything. I read like a chapter or so of this and couldn't get into it, so I'm unhauling this one. Also unhauling The Only Thing Worse Than Me Is You by Lily Anderson. I also just couldn't get into this one. And so the last thing that I'm getting rid of, I feel really bad about, and that's Girls of Paper of Fire and Girls of Storm and Shadow. I really enjoyed this when I read it, but it was really a struggle for me because of like the topic manner, and I've kind of forgotten a good chunk of what happened in it when I went to go read the sequel, and I don't think I can force myself to reread the first one and suffer through that again personally to read the sequel. So I'm going to be passing these along to someone I know so that they could enjoy them better. All right, so that is everything that I am unhauling today. I feel a little bit better about how clear my shelves look. What about you? Have you unhauled books recently? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like what you saw here today, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.